starseeds actually have souls that originated from stars, other planets, star systems, constellations, sometimes places far, far beyond what our galaxy is. And starseeds came to Earth, actually were seeded into Earth
Hmm.
to help. Starseeds come here with a specific mission. Starseeds tend to have very deep intuitive gifts. And it's tricky because when we incarnate from a star or a planet or some distant galaxy, we come into this very dense third dimension. A lot of us starseeds, myself included, forget. We
Yeah.
forget where we're from. It's very difficult being here on the third dimension in this
Yeah.
earth plane. And so a lot of us forget. And then later down the road, once something happens, sometimes a trauma, a near-death experience, just in a breath work, it happened for me. We
Hmm.
kind of wake up to this idea of, well, wait a minute, I'm connected to something way bigger than just this work 9 to 5 thing. So star seeds really do come here from other dimensions, other planets, other star systems, constellations, with a very specific sole purpose or mission. And star seeds and empaths, if people are familiar with empaths,
Hmm.
tend to overlap quite a bit. We tend to be incredibly sensitive to all the senses.
Yeah.
We tend to have extrasensory gifts of some kind, where it's clairaudience, clairsentience, clear knowing, sometimes visions. We can have very prophetic dreams. Most star seeds tend to feel like they don't fit in here.
Yeah.
They don't belong here.
I
This
can
isn't our
relate to
home.
that. And
Yeah.
sometimes the human experience becomes too overwhelming, or we just get tired.
We're like, I want to go home. It's weird. Like, we're here. I'm in my home right now, but this isn't my home. My soul's home, right? So there can be this longing to want to go home
Yeah.
and
And
not really knowing where that is.
are there a lot of star seeds incarnated on Earth at the moment?
Yes, I think currently, right now, there are more star seeds on Earth than ever before. We know Earth has been going through a lot of deep challenges and crises. And so I've heard various different numbers, up to 4.5 billion, which is essentially what half of
Hmm.
the people on Earth, give or take. So it might be less, it might be more than that. But a lot of star seeds don't know they're star seeds.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
They've forgotten and have yet to awaken. And a lot of star seeds are still little babies or little kids. So they'll figure that out hopefully as they grow up.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify something I asked before we started recording, because I use, and I think I've heard a lot of people using star seeds to talk about the actual like star beings, the
Mm.
species from the other planets, like the Pleiadian, the Arcturians. Um, how do you differentiate? Do you call them star beings or extra dimensional beings, and we are the star seeders because we were seated here in on the planet?
Yeah, that's a great question. They're sometimes used, interchangeably, but star seeds technically are us, the ones that are here on Earth. We were seeded into Earth from the stars, and the beings that are still on whatever star system or constellation, I often refer to as like star family, our soul family, our star guides.
Ancestors.
Yeah, our ancestors, our cosmic ancestors. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So, yeah.
Before we talk about them,
Mhm.
I know there are many species.
There are.
Um, but just before we start talking about them, can you tell us some signs, or most common signs that we can learn in order to know whether or not we are star seeds?
Absolutely. Yeah. In general, most star seeds tend to feel like the black sheep of their family.
Hmm.
They feel like they don't belong either in their family or just in society in general. A lot of star seeds are very drawn to the night sky, actually prefer to be outside under the stars than even during the daytime. A lot of star seeds tend to question established hierarchies, question authority. Sometimes we can even be labeled as troublemakers or rebels because we're kind of
Hmm.
like, we don't understand this. It doesn't work like this. on other star systems and planets. A lot of us have a hard time just being in a body. We might kind of like bump into things or get little minor, injuries, accidents, little things like that can happen because it's just so weird and dense being in a body that some of us have a hard time navigating that. We tend to also be drawn to like paranormal phenomenon, aliens, ancient aliens, if you will, metaphysics, energy work. A lot of us tend to work in fields of the healing arts or just art in general. A lot of us are very highly creative, highly sensitive, deep, deep empathy. I mean, the list goes on. There's many other traits. Those are kind of like the general overview of them.
I can relate to that, and I feel like many of the listeners can relate to that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So I know there are many species. We have many star friends and star families. But can we perhaps go over a few of them? Like
Sure.
I don't know if there is such thing as like the most important. Is there any hierarchy or anything like
That's
that?
a great question too. I mean, so when we talk about like the Galactic Council of Light or the Galactic Federation of Light, sometimes people often refer to that. That is a group of 12 different star beings or cosmic ancestors that kind of they're like the UN of the cosmos, if you will. So they have kind of like a group, they band together and they look over Earth, they protect Earth. So there's 12 different types of cosmic beings or star ancestors in that group. But there's well over 50 different types
Wow.